Hey guys, welcome back to AF Farms and welcome back to Erlengrat for our Let's Play series. So, last episode we picked up this JCB Fast Track, so quite a nice, neat, nifty little tractor. So this is the mid-size Fast Track, so I believe it is medium tractors, this one here, JCB Fast Track 4220. Yep, so that's the one. So we picked that up used, got it for 100 grand. Very good purchase. It's got a front load attached, front loader attachment, or yeah, I think that's what you call it. So we're going to put that to work in the farm today, hopefully. What else have we got? We've got a lizard pickup still. Jump into the build mode because that's really a good way to visualise what we've got. So we picked up a tedder. We're leasing a windrower. We've leased a mower as well. So we're on the lookout for all those items. We've created a little bit of a hay pile. So I've just painted a concrete pad and I've just been piling up the hay there. We've planted some grass fields. So we own field 19, 20 and 18. And that is basically how we're getting our grass at the moment. We've got some cows. So the cows are... So we've got 16 Holsteins. So these are affectionately known as dairy cows. So milk producing cows. We haven't got any straw at the moment, so that's something we need to start looking at. We really need to get silage underway so we can start to basically stockpile silage in preparation for things like winter, stuff like that. I do have seasonal growth turned on currently, so this is the crop calendar here. But I think I did change the fixed visual month. So if I jump into my settings here quickly. No, that might be this menu. No, so I've turned it off. So I was having issues with the video quality in the snow. It was a bit dark, so I just wanted to lighten things up. But I still want to maintain seasons and keep that underway. So let's go and have a look if the cows are ready to be fed again. I've got a feeling we are full on cow food. Yes, we are. Cool. Alright, let's jump out of here. Nice detail in the cow barn, and on the cow models as well. Very, very good. So I had a thought in between this video and last video. I might do a second cow pen just for cattle. So they're cattle to be sold. So I can have basically two lots. So I'll have a set of cows here for dairy, and then I'll have a set of cows here for strictly just selling. So that'll mean that we can invest in some other equipment, such as the animal transport trailers. So what I'm thinking is this type of thing here. So this will hold 12 cows. So obviously we're going to fatten them up, take them to the animal dealer, sell them. Can't get a road train out of this because it doesn't have a hitch on the rear there. It looks like. But we could go a smaller trailer, something like this, but I think I want to go the big semi-trailer setup. So that'll be down the track. So what we're going to do today is we're going to build a silage bunker. So let's get into the build mode. So build mode is L1 and the touchpad in the middle, if you're wondering. So this is I'm on PS5. So I think this area is going to remain just a bit of a stockpile area. I may put the manure bunker and probably the slurry extension pit in here as well. Over this side, we're going to set up our silage situation. So to find silage bunkers, I think they're in silos. So I'm just going to go all the way to the left. Another thing we're going to look to install is probably the bale and pallet storage shed. So that'll be for bale storage. So I'm not a huge fan of the hayloft, just because of the logistics of having to drive through it to fill your hay up, and it only holds 250 litres, so I think that's total capacity. Whereas I think bales in this building here So I think this will take 250 items altogether. So 250 bales essentially. So quite a lot of storage option there. And it also gives us the opportunity to do some baling as well. So, okay, so a couple of options for bunker silo. Just depends on how big we want to go, really. Yeah, I think realistically we should probably just go the small. So it only snaps, it only goes one of two ways. So we can potentially have two side by side. So that's going to be 50 grand. A bit of cost involved. Because what I'd probably plan to do is I'd probably have one, have them both side by side. So you have one filling, one fermenting. I mean, even though it only takes like a couple of days in game to ferment, it's not a huge process. Yeah, the other thing too is I want to make sure I've got room to turn around, so I'm thinking this is probably going to be ideal. So if I line it up kind of centrally with the rest of the farm, leave this access point here at the back of the cow shed so I can get in and out nice and easy. And then when I'm doing my leveling with the bunker, so if I push over here a little bit, and even if I had two side by side, which is probably what the plan will be, I've still got enough access in and out to get them in. So let's just zoom out, make sure it's parallel with our, yep. So we want to be probably around here. So let's place that down. Okay, let's go and check it out. So that was a nice dead flat area too, which is good. So 25,000 even for construction costs. There was no terraforming required. So it's going to be easy to get our equipment in and out. And I'll be able to drive the loading wagon potentially straight through. So that will also be handy. So what we do is we might drop a load off. And let's just start filling it up, eh? Sounds like a better time than any. Actually, no, what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave that ready to... Bit of tricky reversing here. Leave this here in preparation for food, and we're going to utilise the JCB fast track to do some mowing. So let's get this thing underway. I really love the four-wheel steering, eh? Look at that. Now we should still be able to cut grass in January, I believe. Harvest season all year round. Okay, so yeah, we can cut grass. So let's go pick up the mower and get cutting. So I wonder if this is... Yes, this is regrowing currently. But like I said, I've got two massive fields here of grass, so I'm not going to have any issues with grass supply. And I've also got grass on the verges here, which is just part of the external part of the map. Obviously we had some trees here which we cut down, so I used the lizard T-Rex to get rid of those. Oh, the maneuverability of this thing is so good. Alright, let's go and cut this second field here. Alrighty, so what are we going to do? So let's lower the mower, turn it on, switch to our rear tool, lower the mower and turn it on, and we should be good to go. So let's get cruise control on. So we can only do 22 k's an hour, which is fine. I'm just going to put in the work here, admire the JCB while we're going. So I won't film the whole thing because it'll take me ages to cut this field, but what I might do is I'll do a lap around the field and then we'll hire a worker and then we'll come back and sort of go from there. So let's just hang it right here. Doesn't matter if I go over the edge a little bit, because the worker will be able to, well, the grass will grow back. That's the beauty of grass. So let's just reverse up here. So I've talked about the benefits of grass earlier, but basically you don't need to, once it's planted once, you can harvest it over and over and over again. So it really has an added benefit for longevity. I mean, obviously there's limitations in how much yield you get, but at the end of the day, like, being able to leverage the growth over and over. So it's like sugarcane, it's like poplars, any of those crops that regrow. I think they're the only ones really. So sugarcane, grass and poplars are the ones that plant and regrow. Everything else has to be replanted again and again. Okay, let's back that up. Make a pretty good time on this actually, so I just love mowing in general. It's my favourite pastime in real life as well. So I've got a ride-on mower for my property. Just love getting on that thing, cruising around. It's a bit of solitude. So we seem to get some dust coming up here. I wonder if that's just a bit of dust from the grass. Pretty cool little animation. So I've already cut a section of this field in a previous video. So that was, I think, last episode or the episode before, where we were creating hay. I think eventually what I'll try and do is I'll either get the Crone mower, the dedicated mower, or I'll get the wider. Mower itself. So let's hire a worker. Have a quick look at the shop. So the mower that I've got my eye on would probably be. So this is. How wide is that? It does 12 meters. So that obviously goes on the front. Yeah, I don't mind this one. Only does 7.3 Ks though. This one here is basically the big dog, so that's 12.3, so that's significantly wider than, yeah, it's almost double the width. Cool, anyway, I'll let this worker carry on, and then we'll come back into the video once this guy's finished, and we'll pick up this grass. Actually, we're going to windrow it, then we'll pick it up, and we'll take it into the bunker, so stay tuned. I'll be back in a couple of minutes. Alrighty, so we are finished with that field, so let's go and grab the windrower, get this all nice and lined up, and then we'll jump into our loading wagon and pick it up. So let's drop this stuff off in our highly manoeuvrable JCB. Gotta love this thing. I just want to drive it all the time. Look at this. This windrow is also pretty cool, so let's unfold that because it takes a little while to unfold before we get there. So what I'll do is I'll start the process, and then we'll flick it over to the worker, and then we'll go from there. So let's get this lowered, get this turned on, and we are away. So let's make sure we just hug the edge of that field and on the left there, so we get a nice big swath drop, I think is the correct farming term. Yeah, we'll do a bit of panning, cinematic style. It's a good thing about playing on console, you get the analog sticks to really help with camera angles. I mean, I'm pretty sure on PC you got to use your mouse, so anytime you do watch Let's Players on PC with, you know, mouse and keyboard, you inevitably hear the mouse click. Bit of a dead giveaway. So this is not the biggest windrower in the game, however we did have to compromise on what we could afford at the time. So basically I'll just position this in a little bit. That reminds me, I probably could have checked the used vehicle sales. So while that is going straight, yeah, so we're still in the same stock from, I believe it was yesterday. So I don't think we've slept yet. I want to at least get this grass cut. So truth be told, we could probably actually cut the grass on this other field while we're waiting. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this guy out of here, hook up the mower. So obviously we've got 2 tractors, so we might as well use them. So we'll just position this loading wagon just outside. Now the mower works on this rig as well. This is a 135 horsepower tractor, and I think the horsepower requirements for the mower are 120. Cool, all good. So we basically got, let's get our map back on. Yeah, field 19. That's the one we want to cut as well. So make the most of our opportunity here. So we'll get this guy started in the corner. Good thing about that fence there, there's no collision. I mean, I'm really glad they did that, because that would be super annoying, driving your equipment back and forth and having to hit that every time. So let's get that just in front of the field. So that should cut the center section, and now this should start cutting the rest. Lovely. Alright, let's carry on with this. So turn the windrower on. So basically I'm all about trying to be maximum efficiency. So that really involves utilising the workers 100%. So you can have 6 workers. So effectively what I try to do is I try and work towards having 6 workers working at any one time, because it basically just increases your output of your farm. So the more you produce, the more you output, the more money you make, and the faster you progress. So I'm just going to back this up slightly because I don't want to mess up that other row, which I am going to do slightly anyway. Yeah, it doesn't matter. So you can see there, got our worker plugging away on that other field. So while I'm windrowing this, the worker is going to be doing that task for me, which is excellent. Alright, let's see if I can fix up this turn this time. So I might slow down a touch, give myself a bit better turning circle. Oh yeah, that didn't work too badly. Okay, start the turn now. Probably going to pick up a tiny bit of that one. Yeah, not too bad. So you sometimes see those big silage farms in Europe that do grass. And they've just got mowers mowing it constantly. Just acres and acres and acres of crop. Pretty cool. Okay, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to turn around. I feel like it's going to be a little bit easier, a bit more efficient than trying to go round in a circle that's going to get concentrically smaller and smaller. Yeah, here we go. This is working pretty nicely. Let's jump in the cab actually. Get a nice perspective out the window. Really get to admire the animation there. So look at the grass, look at it move. Really well done to the developers on that. Okay, this is probably going to be a little bit of an issue. See if we can't go a bit tighter on the turn here. So I'm not really following a very efficient path, but you know, at the end of the day, I'm not a real farmer. Just figuring it out as we go along, as most people do playing this game. But yeah, I do like to tailor my content to sort of a newer, more beginner, novice player. And anyone who likes and appreciates Let's Plays, so just see how someone else plays the game, because you can always learn something from watching others. I mean, the day where you think you know it all is really when you should be more focused on learning. Because even now, I watch Let's Plays of other YouTubers and things like that, and still pick up ideas and different ways of doing things. So it's just a evolving process over time. Okay, what I'm going to do here is I'm probably going to try and just swing through, get this last section here. Might actually miss a tiny bit, but let's just grab these two rows, and then I'm just going to turn. Yep. I might lift the windrower, and then I'll put it back down in that other section. So let's go from here. So I think the up and back is probably the most efficient, but obviously this field's got a bit of an angle, so hence why I kind of started the way I did. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to try and swing around here. See if we can't pick up the rest of this stuff. If it combines the other two, I'm not too worried. I just want to get it up, get it done. Because this thing is so wide, it's pretty unavoidable. Okay, I think we're done. So let's lift that up. Let's turn that off. So we've got a small section here that I'll pick that up manually. It's not a problem. Alright, let's drop this guy off. Hopefully it'll let me drop it off without being folded. Yeah. Happy days. Now I've got some hay in here. Probably just going to try and dump this off into the bunker. Pretty sure you can mix and match, because effectively all it does is treat it as chaff once you put it in. I guess we'll find out if we can do it this way or not. Okay, so let's get this unloaded. So we'll back up just a touch. Isn't it funny? Like that little bit of hay compared to the massive pile. Okay, let's turn the loading wagon on. I could probably get a bigger loading wagon now, so lower the pickup. So this should fill up pretty quick. Zoom in a little bit, watch this animation. Yeah, so I will endeavour to probably get a bigger loading wagon in the future. Once we start selling the silage. So any excess silage, obviously we'll sell. And we'll utilise that for purchasing equipment. Because I think the cows they're going to take quite a while to give us a positive return on investment. Obviously, we've spent $500,000 on the enclosure, then we've spent 100 grand on the actual cows, plus all the equipment to really, so 100 grand on, also let's say 200,000 on tractors. So what are we getting? Close to 1.5 million, to be fair, because we're almost out of money. And we haven't had a payday yet, so it is probably going to take a little bit of time for that to come back to us. Okay, good. So I think it's going to be a bit of a longer term strategy. And cows are quite demanding as an animal in general because of their needs. So it might not be the best animal to start with, but we can make it work because we can leverage the grass, and even if we have to just sell the silage, that's what we'll end up doing. So let's dump this out. Where a lot of people go wrong in this game when they first start out is they try to do a little bit of everything and don't really specialise on any one thing straight away, which is problematic because you've basically got to go through the process to sort of recoup your investment, which can take a while. Okay, let's pick up the rest of this. So I'm not sure if you guys are aware, but there's a little bit of a line on the center of the bonnet there. That's basically to allow you to line up your runs in the field. So you can sort of position your tractor. It's more so particularly for when you're planting and ploughing and stuff like that. I mean, it's got a special name. I can't remember it off the top of my head. There we go. It's these kind of scenarios where I wish I had the steering wheel. So I used to have the G29 Logitech for, I think I played Dirt Rally with it. It's pretty good, but I got rid of it because I ran out of space in my man cave. But it was really, really good for these sorts of driving tasks because your steering wheel inputs were a lot more realistic and less sort of janky like that with the console. Obviously the analog sticks aren't perfect, but they're good overall. But just, if I do enjoy the driving aspect, so Logitech, if you're listening, feel free to hook me up with a free steering wheel for a review, and I'll look after you. I'm actually interested in trying the heavy equipment steering wheel. So it's got like a 900-degree steering wheel, specifically designed for simulator games like Euro Truck Simulator and Farm Sim. Oh, don't tell me we're stuck. Yep, we are. Come on. I think I might have wedged it on the side of the... Yep, okay. So a good way to try and dislodge it is to attach and reattach. I might have to reset this. Oh, that would suck. Come on, JCB, you can do it. I think we're almost there. Let's see if I can't give it a nudge. Let's try one more time. I just don't want to have to drive back to the shop. Ooh, almost. Yeah, let's just reset this. It's going to be way easy. It's going to be way quicker. Right, to reset vehicles, if you're not aware, so you need to come into your menu, you need to find the offending item, R3, and then reset. So if we drive over to the shop now, it will be there waiting for us. The only downside is if you have stuff in that trailer, you lose the contents of that trailer, which is super annoying. So say for example, if you've just done a huge harvest, you're off to sell it, you roll it, you get stuck, you're basically SOL. So I'll remember that for next time. Obviously it's just grass, it's just some silage, so it's not a huge deal, but if it was a scenario where I really needed to be careful, that's why you don't want to send your workers to do deliveries if you're really worried about it, because if they get stuck, you could potentially lose, you know, hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of sale if you can't recover the trailer. It's happened to me before. It's very annoying, but that's just part of the game, so just something to be aware of. Alright, let's get another load. And once we get a bigger wagon, this is going to speed up our efficiency quite a bit, so fewer trips to the bunker. We're just going to come up with a plan to actually flatten out this silage. Actually, I hadn't actually considered how that was going to work. Okay, it looks like our mower's done, so let's, of course he's going to get stuck on that light pole, bound to happen. Alright, let's go and switch to the windrower. So I'll get the worker to windrow this field while I'm still picking up the rest of this cut grass. I mean, the lighting effects in this game are really good too. So this is obviously just PS5, so it's not PC. So it's not the greatest, but pretty good effort, really. I'm probably really expecting to see a big graphical upgrade for the next main title, which will be purely next-gen console. Obviously this game was developed for PS4 and PS5, so there was limitations in what they could do as developers, because you still sort of got to make the game for those two console markets. Whereas the next game is going to be 100% next-gen. So it's going to be really interesting to see what sort of enhancements come to console. PC players will probably be like, you know, we've always had this. Like 4K gaming, potentially, 4K graphics. That would be pretty amazing. Okay, so let's line this guy up so we get a nice long straight run here. But I think the PS5 only records in 1080p anyway. So unless there's plans to change that. Okay, let's hire the worker. Cool. Happy days. Alright, let's carry on with the loading of the grass here. So I was thinking about that today actually with the release of the next game, so potentially we might get something, I think, November 2024. So that is still probably 18 months away, if not longer, if my math is correct. So recording this now, it is May 2023. So at the end of 2023, we've got another DLC, which with a new map. So that's already been announced. The map hasn't been announced, but it's part of the Year 2 Season Pass. So there's going to be something coming map related in November. And then over the next 12 months, if we go into the next development cycle, it basically makes sense that they wouldn't launch the new title or the new game within 12 months of the final Year 2 DLC. So there may be some small DLCs throughout the following 12 months, but I think November 24 is when we're likely to see the next main title. And it'll probably be called Farm Sim 25. Just sort of keeping with their naming convention that they've sort of been running with. Let's lower the wagon there. And it kind of makes sense because to develop a game essentially for 100% for a new console might require a new game engine. Probably represents new challenges, new opportunities for the hardware of consoles. So yeah, PS5 in particular, and obviously Xbox Series 1X or whatever the comparable Xbox console is. I mean, PC is PC. It's always going to lead the forefront in development and innovation within the modding community and the game itself. So very, very interesting. It's also quite a bit longer in terms of development cycle from FS19 to FS22. So I think FS19 to FS22 was about a 3-year cycle from when the game launched. So when FS19 launched to when FS22 launched. In that time, obviously, we got new console in the PS5 and the comparable Xbox. So it made sense that the developers of all, not just Giants, but all game developers were making games for both platforms. But I think now we're kind of, PS5 has matured a little bit. It's early in its life cycle, but we're starting to see more dedicated next-gen games coming out. And I think the developers, yeah, they're really going to, not to say that they haven't utilised the PS5 hardware to its full potential, but just what that next-gen gaming sort of is going to look like. I suspect that there'll be some big graphical upgrades, potentially. And basically, rule of thumb is whatever's popular on PC in the modding community generally makes its way into the base game for consoles. Just because PC's got more ability to mod the game and all that sort of stuff. Like Seasons, for example, that was a mod in FS19 that's now a standard feature in the console-based game. You know, among other things. Right, let's grab this last little section here. So turn the loading wagon on, lower the pickup. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what they do with the next DLC map too. It's going to be very popular, I think. That's tend to be what happens with these sorts of games. As soon as we get the last sort of DLC, speculation will start to, you know, circulate the community about when the next title will be launched, and then we'll get, you know, teasers and updates over a 12-month period. The game will get probably officially announced probably 6 months out from release. So they've got a hype train moving into the sale phase. Usually in November, makes sense. so they can take advantage of Christmas sales. So I had a look on Steam charts as well. So FS22 is, I think, number 63 for sort of active daily users out of 100. So still in the top 100, nearly 18 months after release. It's definitely got a dedicated player base, that's for sure. Oh, look at these nice straight windrows. Beautiful. That's the benefit of hiring a worker right there. Alright, what we'll do is we'll leave this video here. I'm going to finish off a couple more loads, fill the bunker up, and then next episode we'll come in, we'll figure out how we're going to pack it, level it, blanket it. We'll go through that process, and then we'll wait a couple of days and end up with some silage, hopefully. So thanks for watching, guys. Really appreciate the support. Any questions, queries, leave me a comment below. Like the video if you like the content. Consider subscribing if you haven't already, because it really helps me out, and I really appreciate the viewers. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.